Talk to me. So you finally want to get behind the wheel, huh?
Yeah, I've been shooting for 3 years and I've never got to drive.
Well, you're gonna need some more gear than just your helmet. Why don't you go to shopakr.com. They got their inventory online and they'll ship it the same day if you order before 5:30 p.m. Eastern.
They got shoes?
Yep.
Gloves?
Yep.
Rip protectors?
Got those too.
Can they make me go fast?
No.
Here at Acceleration Kart Racing, we've got everything you need to get on track. What happens next, well, that's on you. Check us out online at shopakr.com.
I need a new 219 chain. I need a 77 tooth wrist sprocket. I need some more chain lube, and I need it probably as soon as like tomorrow. Dude, are you even listening? Like, we need this to run this weekend.
Want anything else?
What do you mean?
I already got it in the car on Acceleration Kart Racing's online store, bro. All orders over $200 get free shipping.
Oh, throw in a set of tires.
Done.
Everything you need, all in one place and shipped to your door for free on orders of $200 or more. Exclusions apply. ShopAKR.com.
Brandon, why are there all these charges for just over $200?
I'm tired of all this Brandon business, okay? Brandon this, Brandon that. Why are there all these expenses on AKR over $200? We know, okay? Take a walk with me. At Shop AKR, they have everything you need to start racing at a very cheap and affordable price. They have MXC rims, they got chains, electrical stands, tilt seats, they got MXCs. And if you didn't know, on top of that, any purchase in the continental US over $200, that's free shipping.
Hey, aren't you supposed to be in the AKR Anonymous meeting over there?
Dude, I'm doing a commercial.
Dude, we have no time, it's about to start.
Stop. We all love Shop AKR. Me? More than others. What do I get at Shop AKR?
MXC rims.
All the way up to the finish line. Who is it going to be? And it's Sean Perez who wins in Crescent.
Ty Fisher wins $1,000 in KA100 Jr.
Alex Stanfield played it perfectly here. Told him to wait. Stanfield wins the Duffy in 2024 for TV Karts.
Amarillo Kart Complex is now the official distributor for TV Kart in the continental U.S. Become a dealer today.
Brandon, why are there all these charges for just over $200 from Acceleration Kart Racing's website?
That's because AKR gives you free shipping on orders of $200 or more within the continental US.
Okay, but I thought you were just getting a pair of gloves. That's what, 70 bucks?
But if I'm getting a new pair of gloves, I might as well get a new pair of shoes to match. And then on top of that, I'll get a neck brace because with the shipping, it's basically free.
Yeah, I do not think the math checks out on that.
Everything you need, all in one place and shipped to your door for free for orders of $200 or more. Exclusions apply. Spend responsibly. ShopAKR.com.
So you finally want to get behind the wheel, huh?
Yeah, I've been shooting for 3 years and I've never got to drive.
Well, you're gonna need some more gear than just your helmet. Why don't you go to shopakr.com. They got their inventory online and they'll ship it the same day if you order before 5:30 p.m. Eastern.
They got shoes?
Yep.
Gloves?
Yep.
Rip protectors?
Got those too.
Can they make me go fast?
No.
Here at Acceleration Kart Racing, we've got everything you need to get on track. What happens next, well, that's on you. Check us out online at shopakr.com.
I need a new 219 chain. I need a 77 tooth wrist sprocket. I need some more chain lube, and I need it probably as soon as like tomorrow. Dude, are you even listening? Like, we need this to run this weekend.
Want anything else?
What do you mean?
I already got it in the car on Acceleration Kart Racing's online store, bro. All orders over $200 get free shipping.
Oh, throw in a set of tires.
Done.
Everything you need, all in one place and shipped to your door for free on orders of $200 or more. Exclusions apply. Shop AKR.com.
Brandon, why are there all these
All right,
charges
stop.
for just over $200?
I'm tired of all this branding business, okay? Branding this, branding that. Why are there all these expenses on AKR over $200? We know, okay? Take a walk with me. At Shop AKR, they have everything you need to start racing at a very cheap and affordable price. They have MXC rims, they got chains, electrical stands, tilt seats. They got MXCs, and if you didn't know, on top of that, any purchase in the continental U.S. over $200, that's free shipping.
Hey, aren't you supposed to be in the AKR Anonymous meeting over there?
Dude, I'm doing a commercial.
Dude, we have no time. It's about to start.
Stop. We all love Shop AKR. Me? More than others. What do I get at Shop AKR?
MXC rims.
All the way up to the finish line. Who is it going to be? And it's Sean Perez who wins in Crescent.
Ty Fisher wins $1,000 in KA100 Jr.
Alex Stanfield played it perfectly here. Told him to wait. Stanfield wins the Duffy in 2024 for TV Karts.
Amarillo Kart Complex is now the official distributor for TV Kart in the continental U.S. Become a dealer today.
Brandon, why are there all these charges for just over $200 from Acceleration Kart Racing's website?
That's because AKR gives you free shipping on orders of $200 or more within the continental U.S.
Okay, but I thought you were just getting a pair of gloves. That's what, 70 bucks?
But if I'm getting a new pair of gloves, I might as well get a new pair of shoes to match. And then on top of that, I'll get a neck brace because with the shipping, it's basically free.
Yeah, I do not think the math checks out on that.
Everything you need, all in one place and shipped to your door for free for orders of $200 or more. Exclusions apply. Spend responsibly. Shop AKR.com.
great, but I want.
So you finally want to get behind the wheel, huh?
Yeah, I've been shooting for 3 years and I've never got to drive.
Well, you're gonna need some more gear than just your helmet. Why don't you go to shopakr.com? They got their inventory online and they'll ship it the same day if you order before 5:30 p.m. Eastern.
They got shoes,
Yep,
gloves,
yep,
rib protectors.
got those too.
Can they make me go fast?
No.
Here at Acceleration Kart Racing, we've got everything you need to get on track. What happens next? Well, that's on you. Check us out online at shopakr.com.
morning, everybody, and welcome to the Super Karts USA Winter Series opening round. My name's Xander Clements alongside me, Rob Out. Apologies, of course, to those listening in and watching along back home for the technical difficulties that delayed a little bit of our start here to this wet and wild first day of action, and the only bit of rain that this track has seen all weekend here, Rob.
Yeah, kind of a little bit of a wrench into the plans of so many drivers. It was a little bit cooler earlier in the week, but through practice yesterday, a very nice day, as we talked about before, 70 degrees. Of course, waking up this morning to a wet racetrack and another challenge, as I said, throwing at all these drivers.
And there are a lot of drivers, record-setting numbers. 316 entries was, I believe, the final count. It is by and far the biggest SKUSA Winter Series in history, beating last year's opening weekend record of 285. And in checking with David Cole last night, I believe, to my knowledge and his, that this is the biggest non-Supernats Superkarts USA event.
Indeed, yeah, and having it here at the Winter Series, right? Not part of the Pro Tour, so interesting. And again, everybody itching, I think, to get back at it. We had a fantastic Supernats this year out at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and a little time off. Everybody gets ready to dive right back into the 2025 season.
Well, with full classes across the board, you're seeing a few drivers and KA100 senior names that are jumping to the X30 Pro class just so they could get a part and an entry into this weekend. One of them is the driver at the top of the boards here in the slow group for Pro X30 Qualifying. Luke, welcome on the Rocket Racing Company OTK. Tops the boards over Steven De Kaiser. Alex Feldstein enters his first full Pro X30 campaign. He sits third. Chris Gearam, John Liam Gray, 44 drivers, and now it'll shuffle as a different ROC goes to the top.
Xander, let's take an opportunity for you guys to talk about the fact that you're starting another season. I got a big season going. I know you guys had a fantastic year last year here at Kart Chaser all the way to the Super Nationals. A ton of broadcasts you guys did, but again, I know you talked about it yesterday, was this is starting the 2025 campaign.
This is the beginning of the road to Las Vegas once again, and it starts just basically, like you said, only a month and a half after we leave it. All roads end up at Supernats, and this year it'll be Super Nationals 28 as we inch closer to that big 30 number. We, of course, know Superkarts USA's probably got some aces in the hole ready to play for Supernats 30, but this year, Supernats 28 concludes the year, and in the middle, well, a lot of weekends, like you said, Rob. We've got pretty much our entire regular calendar, so for those that will be joining the KC Premium membership to watch for the pre-finals and finals later today and the same tomorrow, well, you're going to get a lot of action. We're back here at Orlando Kart Center for the Rotax Max Winter Trophy in 2 weeks. That's a back-to-back stint. In fact, there's 3 consecutive weekends of racing, concluding here with the SKUSA Winter Series. We've got the Texas Sprint Series on deck again, the U.S. Pro Kart Series, the Stars Championship Series, the SKUSA Pro Tour, which is, if anything, foreshadowed by the entries here, looking to be fantastic this year with its first stop over to Speed Sports Racing Park in Houston, and probably the most centric Pro Tour in, well, quite some time. I think you'd have to go back to that DKC opening weekend with the Spring Nats, and then through to, I believe that was a year that still only had the Summer Nats and the Super Nats together.
I believe so, yeah, indeed. And I'll be with you guys for the Winter Nationals. Won't be able to make the Spring Nats or Summer Nats with my conflicts I have with the USF Pro Championships, but excited to get back to Speed Sports Racing Park for that event. Of course, the opening rounds of the Florida, or the SKUSA Pro Tour, which will be, again, a fantastic season here.
Yeah, we finally get to christen the Howden Tower with a Rob Howden commentated national event, right?
Sure enough, yeah. I've been there many times for the Texas Pro Kart Series, Pro Kart Challenge back in the day. But yeah, to be able to be there with you guys for Kart Chaser, to be in my Howden Tower, which Alan Rudolph named it when they opened the racetrack, that would be a lot of fun. And I just love the racetrack. I got a chance to drive it when I was prepping myself for my own Super Nationals journey a couple of years ago. But there's so many passing opportunities at that track. It's a great one to call a race at.
We're looking forward to getting down to Houston for sure. That'll be the end of March, folks, with the SKUSA Pro Tour opening weekend. Here's a look at, once again, the benchmark for the first half completing their qualifying session in Pro X30. The fast group, a.k.a. the top half of the drivers from final practice yesterday, yet to run. But it is a Rocket Racing Company 1-2 off of group number 1. Raheem Alabai, a 59.249. Luke Welcome second, Steven De Kaiser, Maximo Tomagino, Brian Garcia, the top 5 over Sawyer Roussel, another KA driver making his Pro X30 debut. Feldstein, McPherson, Spears, Tiziano Rosso, Orcel, but, well, Florida locals, they're a bit like the Brits. It rains a lot here, so I'm not surprised to see 2 of them fastest in that group, Rob.
Yeah, indeed. You always get that kind of afternoon rain. We had it when we were down at Homestead many times. You see that little bit of a cloud cover come rolling through, from 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock kind of a thing, and dampen the track a little bit. I love it because although it's not spring, this is kind of our spring training, right? If you can use a baseball term, allowing drivers to get back at it again. So many times we'll see young drivers now moving up to the next level. Many make their debut in either the X30 Junior or the Pro X30 category. I've seen a couple of drivers making their debut in the Pro X30 category, like a Colin Lloyd here. So I love it when a young driver gets a chance to run in different conditions, right? This is all, it's not going to be dry everywhere you go throughout the season. So why not start the year with a little bit of wet, give your a chance to get a feel for what it's like again to drive a track like this in tough conditions.
Ryan Norberg and Joe Turney, two of the headline names, of course, in this division, but there's a lot of drivers, like you said, Rob, that we want to give some airtime to. So while we'll let those two cycle through, here's a look back to one of the newcomers making his U.S. debut, and from what we understand, it'll be a full U.S. and North American campaign for Caden McQueen on the Energy Corsa America's machine. Behind him as well, a U.S. return for Olin Galley on the CRG USA number 41. Both drivers internationally known, but it is a return after a 5-year hiatus for Olin, and it is a debut. I talked with Caden earlier this week as we were getting all of his media day duties completed. He'd been into the U.S. for a quick test run and a quick couple of days, but not only were his first days driving in the U.S. New and very recent, it was also his first time ever in the country. I said, what do you think about this place? He's like, well, it's a lot different. He's like, but I've come to like Florida so far. I know it's a big country, but so far he's happy to be here. And, well, I did have to give him a little grief as a welcome party, saying, why do you have to bring this kind of weather with him? But he's been good.
Well, he's going to get to see a lot of the East Coast, as you said, if he's going to run both USPKS and SKUSA, a number of different races. We'll get into Texas, as you had said before, heading to Speed Sports. But I love seeing another great name like this. Of course, the Energy chassis has been a top chassis for the last number of years. Seeing a top driver come in, another British driver, part of the British invasion, if you will, coming in to race with us. I just love when you get more drivers from different countries to really kind of amp up the excitement levels.
No doubt. And to hear from all of them, and to him as well, I think it's a kudos to both of our companies here, Rob, EKN and Kart Chaser, that, he said one of the big things that stood out and helped make that decision for his career to be over here was all the extra exposure and media coverage in the U.S. There's, of course, a lot of opportunity that, our race series, the SKUSA Pro Tour, the U.S. Pro Kart Series, the Stars Championship Series have some of the best prize packages of any karting championship in the world by far. So that absolutely makes it easier to see a future or to maybe be able to, leverage that in trying to get your budget together to run. But on top of all that, he said that was a big reason why he wanted to be over here. He saw the spotlight that Joe Turney had gotten for the last 2 years. He saw the spotlight Ryan Norberg's had for the last 2 years, and domination invites challenge.
Well, you think about some of the British drivers who have come over here and actually made careers of it, right? Obviously, we're seeing what Joe Turney's done right now, but you look at a Ben Cooper or an Oliver Hodgson, who have essentially moved here. Ben moving to Canada, of course, Oliver now living here in the U.S. and really developing positions within the industry. That's something Caden may be considering down the line.
Well, let's talk about a feel-good story right now. What a lap for Jacob Kolar and the Vice Racing Kart Republic. Early on in this session, albeit, has put over a second on the field. Now, we're getting closer, granted with a lot of cloud cover, to that kind of crossover point. I don't think we're anywhere near it right now, but there's not a lot of standing water. That kind of delta makes you think for a second of how he got it because, 1.3 seconds on Olin Galley, Colin Lloyd, and everyone else. Look at this. Is it? Yes. Slick tires for Jacob Kolar on the Vice Racing Kart Republic. Talk about some local knowledge. This could be huge.
I love that roll of the dice. We weren't sure whether anybody was going to do that. You mentioned there's still a bit of standing water. You can see around a couple parts of the racetrack. It seems pretty damp, but there is that little bit of dry line coming. And yeah, local knowledge, they go to slick tires. 1.3 seconds faster. I wonder if anybody else made that call on pit lane. We'll see here. Checker flag for the fly. If indeed somebody did, I would have to figure, Xander, the last lap is going to be the best one.
Well, I believe we may have just gotten the checkered. Yeah, yellow flag's out. It's official. Jacob Kolar, who had that feel-good win in mixed conditions on slick tires when the rain came at the Miami Grands last year, fending off Ryan Norberg and Frankie Mossman and company, will now begin his 2025 national season with a pole award by over a full second. Olin Galley second. Colin Lloyd on his Pro X30 debut weekend third. What an impressive run for the 93. Miller, Joe Turney fifth. Marcelo Tortato on the CRG USA number 42. will make 2 of the black and orange machines there in the top 10, and the number 1 plate down in 7th here, Rob.
Hey, you wonder if Ryan Norberg and the crew at RPG may have had a thought about that. If anybody else knows this track, the ins and outs of this racetrack and what it's going to be like in the weather, would be Ryan. Of course, his Norberg Nation program here, his academy is here. So I'm kind of wondering if they had a thought of potentially making that call. But again, it was the right one for Jacob Kohler, as you said, 1.387 seconds quicker. Over a second, almost a second and a half faster, rolling with the slick tires. Now, if you're in any category behind him right now, what are you thinking? Have you made that call as well?
Oh, man, this grid has got to be a frenzy right now. That's all I can think about, because KA Master is getting ready to go, and they just witnessed one driver on slicks go out, and there it is right there, a look down the grid as we've got the first 2 on slicks. Looks like one of the Sodis behind, also switching to slick tires. Yeah, it's that crossover period, but it's still very slick, very damp, and we are still about 6 to 7 seconds off, maybe about 5 off, I think, where we were yesterday. We were in the low 50s, and Mateus Morgado broke into the 49-second bracket in the afternoon on slick tires, so a 56. Still has the track pretty slippery, pretty slow, but it's time to put those Avinco reds and blues on.
One of the great stories, I think, here this weekend is that the fact that Rafael Matos is running here this weekend. The driver has had so much success throughout his racing career, coming up, of course, through the open wheel ranks, winning in the Star Mazda Championship, in the Atlantic Championship. He won in the Indy Lights Championship, was able, of course, run a number of events in IndyCar at the IndyCar level as well, sports car racing, of course, now one of the top Trans Am drivers in the country as well. So good to have Rafa out here on that Sodi card here this weekend. I think he'll be definitely one to watch here, but there's a lot of good drivers. Charlie Fonseca, as we know, is very quick. Miguel Mir's been always fast. Nicky Coelho's going to be a driver to watch. So I'm liking the fact that we got a good field of 15 drivers in the KA Master category. Xander, in the class here in the Winter Series, we've had a handful of cars, maybe 6 or 7. Nice to see 15 drivers lining up for KA100 Master, of course, a class near and dear to my heart.
Yeah, good contingent of them. Hopefully that can continue. We're a long ways away from the SKUSA Winter Nats and a long ways away geographically, but maybe this year can be the year that we get a few more of the 100cc Masters drivers to join the national tour. I'm sure Miguel Mir would love that. He has been very active in the last few years, and that's why he's one driver we end up finding ourselves talking about quite a bit. But Franco Crivelli on that Inter MS Kart, or Tony Kart, going to take a minute to get used to that. The OTK switch at the end of the 2024 season, the engine builder for them, getting to play a little bit. I do want to go back, though, and make sure we give love to the rest of our top 10, since we do have a moment before these drivers will fire their engines up from the Pro X30 class, because we had 44 of them in total. Now, only 43 turn laps in qualifying. Esteban Hernandez did not make it out onto the circuit, so 43 drivers logged laps. But right behind Ryan Norberg, who ended up 7th there in that session, Chase Gassie at lead, James Overbeck, and how about Satvik Sarathi? Overbeck, a technical rookie, moving over from the KA100 class after a couple of seasons there. Chase Gassie at lead, what you could call maybe a true rookie, moving up to the senior ranks and going head first into the Pro Division, 8th on debut here. A lot of rookies in the top 10, and Satvik Sarathi, I believe that'll be a career best qualifying effort for him. How about it for Raheem Alabai, also from that slow group, Rob? He ends up still 11th on the blend.
Yeah, that's very impressive to hold on to that spot, as you had said, from the slower group. And again, tough conditions, right? We'll see. You had mentioned very early when we started talking about, hey, how close are we to the crossover? So obviously here, folks, as we see everybody on the grid right now has those slick tires on the slick Avincos to get back out onto the racetrack. And again, this will be a very interesting session, as it's not going to be high grip, right? You're going to have to find and be very precise on all your turn-ins to stay in the best part of the racetrack.
Now, while we talked about some of the drivers that have had a fantastic quality effort in that class that just wrapped up, how about some of the ones that are going to have a lot of work to do in the pre-final today? Paulie Massimino was in the top 3 throughout the entire final practice session yesterday. Super quick, led for a bunch of it. He'll be 21st on the grid for the pre-final provisionally. Jensen Burnett was super impressive on his Pro X30 debut in Las Vegas. 22nd for that young man out of Canada. Austin Garrison calls Orlando Kart Center home, and he was working with his SCR teammates to get them up to speed. Not a great session for the number 6. 25th for the SCR Red Speed, so he'll be buried. The rookie Enzo Vidmontien, along with fellow rookie Amador Martinez, they've got some work to do down there in 27th and 28th. Luckily, both of them teammates inside the top 10 with Turney and with Ryan Norberg, respectively, for the RPG and JHDD duo. And how about that, while the engines fire, talk about some of the silly season that has happened over the winter here, Rob.
Yeah.
Last year, around this time, was a lot more musical chairs with the drivers. This year seems like a little more musical chairs with teams, whether it's new teams joining the fray on the regional, club, and national level, but also hopping around to different brands.
Yeah, obviously, I think Trinity Karting Group was one of the big ones that happened in the offseason right after the Super Nationals, moving from Kart Republic over to the Morel Art chassis. So that was a big one as well. Then you wonder what was going to happen with Kart Republic, who was going to be the team that was going to step up as the works operation, if you will. Ended up being J. Howard Driver Development. So going even deeper down from their big group they have in the USF Pro Championships, dipping down into karting right now to be that Kart Republic operation.
And in talking with Jay, and of course for those that follow us on social media as well as their own team social media, he was already intending on getting to more go-kart races this season. He just didn't intend on it all kind of going the way that it did. They had been in a technical alliance last year where his son Hudson, along with William Vitor, and a few of his USF drivers like Michael Boyadzis were running a handful of events, club, regional, and national, on the Alonso Kart brand as kind of a satellite operation, house within a house on the TKG group. And they wanted to do a little more of that this year, so they had invested. They had bought the truck from the Motaz Sport operation. Jake Motaz putting more of his focus at the T4 Kartplex in Tampa, Florida, about an hour and a half down the road. And then, well, very quickly, TKG moves to Beer Alert in a few weeks. Hey, Jay, can you get a little bit bigger real fast?
That's right.
And, man, have they he said that it's still going to take them a little bit to get everything in place to how Jay likes it. He has a very, very stout operation in the junior formula ranks, and I'm sure he wants to keep that same level of excellence and the look of it all, the professionalism, the organization. Jay as well as I do. He's going to have that a top-notch team here by midsummer.
Yeah, and it'll be a really good connection to everything he does in the USF Pro Championships, as you mentioned, right? He's got cars in both USF Juniors, USF 2000, and USF Pro 2000 with Frankie Mossman. So, indeed, being able to reach all the way down into karting, that's a fantastic opportunity for them to develop young drivers in kart racing, running, of course, club racing at Newcastle Motorsports Park, regional racing as well, and then anything he does, of course, on the national level, like these events at the SuperKarts USA Winter Series and, of course, Pro Tour as well. There's Miguel Mir right there, the 477, the Orsalon racing machine, the multi-time Texas champion Miguel Mir. The driver's just getting things underway a couple of minutes into this session here. We look at the schedule of what's coming up down the pipe here today. Right now, X30, the KA100 Master on the racetrack for qualifying. From there, we'll wrap up our qualifying sessions with Mini Swift and the Pro and Master Shifter combined category. From there, right into the first couple of pre-finals, 10-lap pre-finals for KA100. We'll have a couple of flights in there for the KA100 junior drivers, 2 pre-finals there before we roll into the lunch break after that, straight through the remainder of the pre-finals before main events get set to go a little bit later on today. And again, by then we expect to see the track to be completely dry. It's going to happen very quickly over the next hour or so. Crivelli currently on top. Miguel Mir goes up to second. Scott Carapoletti, veteran driver out of the Northeast, now up into the third spot. Alex Dalbon in fourth. And Scott Falcone, the Colorado driver who made his return to the sport. Last year we saw Scott Falcone in the early days of the SuperKarts USA Pro Tour as one of the top drivers in the Masters category, getting him back behind the wheel in 2024, and looks like that's going to continue as well here in 2025. Crivelli, Mir, Carapoletti, Dalbon, and Fonseca. Here comes Rafael Matos now up into the third spot, expect him to be a driving challenge. Here's the 408 of Elefante. Like the driver able to slip by him. Crivelli's fast time at 58.012. Wait for Coelho to drop that big lap as well. Coelho currently back in 12th spot, top driver in Masters racing the last couple of years. Veteran driver in karting as well. You go back to the late 90s. Coelho was a winner in the WKA Constructors Championship, did a lot of racing in the WKA Manufacturers Cup as well. From there, moved on into the Formula 3000 ranks, running in the Formula Continental Series, a champion in Formula Continental racing in the SCCA. Talented driver. Great to see him coming back to the karting ranks as a Masters pilot. Crivelli has a checker flag flying to end the session here. 4 laps in for everybody. Franco Crivelli holding on to the spot for Inter MS. Matos goes up to second, but still almost a full second back. 57.834 for Crivelli, 57.827 for Rafael Matos. There you go there. Miguel Mir ends up in third. Charlie Fonseca in the 4th spot. 5th was Scott Carapoletti. Great run for Scott to P5. Scott Falcone 6th. Coelho improves from 12th to 7th on the final lap. That will put him on the inside of row number 5, or row number 4 rather, for the pre-final alongside Alex Dalbon. Tom Gerstner, 67 years young, in the 9th spot. Kim Carapoletti in 10th. Here's your top 10 drivers. Again, 15 in total, but almost a full second the advantage for Franco Crivelli over Rafael Matos. Qualifying for KA100 Master, brought to you by the AM Racing Team. Drivers in Mini Swift now. First group getting set to roll out onto the racetrack. Again, as you can see from the shot here at the front of the grid, everyone has made that transition to the slick tires after starting the day off on the treaded wets. But again, Crivelli 57.834, Matos 58.827. Matos about 4/10 quicker than Miguel Mir, did a 59.196, not that far back. Charlie Fonseca just 22 thousandths of a second in P4. So Crivelli and Matos will be on row number 1. Mir and Fonseca on row 2. Carapoletti alongside Falcone on row 3 for the pre-final. Nicky Coelho and Alex Dalbon on row 4. Tom Gerstner and Kim Carapoletti rounding out the top 10. Junad Din in 11th. John Stanescu in 12th. Paul Elefante 13th. Yuang Yu in 14th. And Nico Rivas rounding out the 15 drivers in the field. So folks, as I said, a couple more qualifying sessions still to come. Mini Swift and the Pro and Master Shift, and we'll wrap up the run through the qualifying order from there. Right before our lunch break, we'll have KA100 Jr. on track for a couple of pre-finals before we roll in here with Mini Swift. Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be back. Live coverage all weekend long here on Kart Chaser.
I need a new 219 chain. I need a 77 tooth rear sprocket. I need some more chain lube, and I need it probably as soon as like tomorrow. Dude, are you even listening? Like, we need this to run this weekend.
Want anything else?
What do you mean?
I already got it in the Kart on Acceleration Kart Racing's online store, bro. All orders over $200 get free shipping.
Oh, throw in a set of tires.
Done.
Everything you need, all in one place, and shipped to your door for free on orders of $200 or more. Exclusions apply. Shop AKR.com.
Uh-oh, problems already here in Team Bennick Mini Swift qualifying. Another full house division of 44 drivers in the 157.
Kai Johnson.
Kai Johnson has gone around. A bit off on the opening couple of laps for Kai. Down in 18th, 2.4 seconds to find. Here is a look at one of the faster drivers coming through. That is the number 120 of Colton Bruck. Sixth there on his first two laps. Here comes the end of lap number 3. Big run for Colton. Where will he go? To fourth. Simon Klein, Nick Mose, and looks to be Nathan Ramirez to the top there on the 184.
Yeah, with a lot of action there, of course, right? I think that Bruck went a little higher up, but not maybe for a fraction of a second, because that group was able to move him back down. But he slots back down to 7th now, as I believe Gaddis now works his way to the top. Dominic Gaddis now goes to P1. He's number 114. So he's still early in the runs here. We've got another group waiting in the wings still to come for the drivers here in the Mini Swift category, with all qualifying to set the grid for the pre-final later on today.
They've got one more division that will run after to set the pre-final grids as well. I believe Pro and Master Shifter will roll following your Mini Swift qualifying session. But we're not far from getting racing underway here from Orlando. And while we are again back on slick tires now, folks, obviously I think we're still a good ways away from a fully dry racetrack, which means those first couple of pre-finals are going to be a little bit sketchy. Checkers in the air here for the first group. Any more changes? Good lap for Nick Mose. Big lap out of Geraldine Ibarra on the 139 CRG to the top of the 101.38.
Yeah, big final lap there, going almost 4/10 of a second quicker than Simon Klein. Final drivers coming across the line to finish off this session. It's Ibarra, Klein, Mose, Gaddis, and Roach now your current top 5. And you made a really good point, Xander. We're only now a section away, right? We've got the second group here, Mini, and we've got the Pro and Master Shifter combined group, and then we're going racing. And depending on where you are, inside, outside, it is not going to be super easy, because again, there's one good line on track for a fast lap as the surface continues to dry. But man, it's going to be tough for a couple drivers to get hung out to dry in the wetter parts of the racetrack.
Well, you can see that the stalled cart of Kai Johnson is still off to the side. They're going to wait to retrieve that one until we get done with the fast group. And they are just being released now, and it's one big fray. Now here, center of the screen, moving up for the Sodi Racing USA by Velocity Racing driver of course, Zane Burgess. What a year last year. The first driver to do it in the era now with 3 major championship stars, the U.S. Pro Kart Series, the SKUSA Pro Tour, and then to cap it off with a win at the Supernats. I don't think anyone's had anything like that of a perfect season, if you will.
Yeah, unbelievable last year, let's be real. And then, of course, how about the fantastic announcement earlier on this week, or yesterday, in fact, that he was connected with Andretti Global, which is huge for a young driver like that. They're going to put their weight and support behind young Zane Burgess. Going to watch what he's able to do over the next handful of years. But really cool to see a number of the drivers from the SKUSA Pro Tour getting connected with major organizations, Lucas Palacio being one as well.
And it's great to see them coming back. Lucas Palacio, his dad Nick here, happy to be here, greeted me just as if it was the same race weekend that they were debuting in micro and slowly getting the ranks up to speed. So cool to see the humility of them. As I was working around getting the last few things up, Zane Burgess' dad was getting mobbed with more congratulations from parents all around the paddock. Tyrone Kemper Sr. was one of them, and he said, yeah, I've been waiting on Xander to pay for my racing. I told Tyrone he's going to be waiting a long time. Kevin said the same thing. He had to go with Andretti because Kart Chaser wouldn't sponsor him. We're a long ways away from being to the likes of a powerhouse that is Andretti Global, and so like you said, Rob, awesome opportunity for Zane, for Lucas as well, of course, with the Williams F1 team.
Yep.
That's stuff you don't see every day. This is not, of course, for those that are watching along, a franchise tag or paying for any kind of branding. These two major organizations are serious about putting some resources to help develop these drivers.
You know, and David Cole and I were talking about this last night, Xander. You go back to Lewis Hamilton, right? That was one of the earliest ones you remember when McLaren jumped behind him super early. Mercedes was there as well to say, hey, listen, you know what? We see you as a young cadet driver. We like what you're doing. So we're gonna connect with you. We're gonna make sure we have a relationship, and down the line, of course, it ended up working out for Lewis Hamilton, as we know. So this these connections with Williams for Lucas Palacio, now for Andretti Global with Zane Burgess. These are things that you're not going to see it bear fruit for another, a dozen years maybe.
Long-term plan.
Right? It's a long-term plan, exactly that. 5-6 years maybe the first opportunity. Let's see what you do coming through karting, maybe in your first couple of years in a Formula car. But the bottom line is the connection is there, and there's so many assets that come with the connection to a major organization like Andretti Global.
And I will say, I don't know if Zane's old enough to kind of feel this extra pressure, but when you get an opportunity and there's a lot of drivers around you that look at themselves as good as you or better than you or more deserving than you, you kind of end up getting a bit more of the cold shoulder on and off the racetrack. Now, Zane, again, a young man, just I believe 8 years old and now moving up into mini. This may not really kind of play into his mind, but I'm sure for the likes of some of these kids on screen here who have had some banner years, Royce Vega, Supernats champ, on screen right behind, of course, the fantastic Santiago Orioli, who was kind of the other half of the Micro Swift front pack, winning, I think, the second highest amount of mains behind Zane last year. And so for all of them, it's a little extra. Okay, They think he's better than I am, and Andretti's going to pick him as their guy.
Let's go.
I'm going to prove them wrong, that they did not make the right choice, or that they need to take me too. And right now, Zane is proving them right. That's a big lap here at the end of the session. A 1:03 puts it 4/10 clear.
Royce Vega, you mentioned him, of course, last year's champion in the Winter Series here in the Mini Swift category. He's currently sitting in the 9th spot, and Zane Burgess, as you said, worked his way to the top of the charts, 4/10 quicker than Enzo Di Gennaro as the quickest driver on the Sodi car. Driver has gone off. Who's that?
Aston Wyatt, and his first weekend with Ryan Perry Motorsport, beached in the grass on the outside of the grid hairpin.
He was 15th as well.
Not ideal. He's going to miss on this last lap, this big run here. Orioli, Vega trying to knock off Burgess. Enzo De Janeiro next best as well. About half the field is finished, half still to go. To the line, Benzo Fernandez to second. Nacho Wadi will jump, and Orioli and Vega, all of them still behind Zane, who found another 3/10 on that last lap, Rob.
Yeah, big. Burgess, 60.016, 3/10 quicker than Nacho Wadi. Di Gennaro, Orioli, Benjo Fernandez 5th, Royce Vega jumping up from 9th to 6th, as we had mentioned. Maxwell Macha right in there as well, another Sodi car driver in the 7th position. Cameron Johnson 8th, with Gottschalk 9th. Kalen Berghofer rounding out the top 10. There they are right there for you. And look at that. Really just over a second separating the top 9 or 10 in really tough conditions still.
Yeah, you're going to see deltas like that, folks, in this kind of mixed condition type of track that we've got. We're still probably 3 pushing 4 seconds away from a fully dry surface. And with no sunshine here, just overcast skies this entire morning, kind of that cool breeze here that we're so used to in Florida. It's going to stay like this for a little while longer. 62 degrees right now. It says it feels like 55, so it's a bit of a chilly morning, but certainly warmer than the rest of the country here. Of course, we've got a lot of snow up in the north, and we also want to take a moment here to send well wishes to all of our friends and family in the karting and racing community, and the extensions of that over in LA for all the fires that have gone on. Obviously, that's near and dear to many in the Superkarts USA fold, being a Southern California-based organization. So all the best wishing to those of you out there. Hopefully you are safe if you're able to hear this and watch this, and if you've got any loved ones, they are as well too. We've got Pro Shifter and Master Shifter with their biggest turnouts ever for the SKUSA Winter Series. At least in Pro Shifter, Master Shifter, I think still a solid turnout that at least matches one of the highs that they have seen in the Winter Series program. It's never been massive. It's been a slow burn. We've had Rock Shifter really been the only engine gearbox package around the state of Florida and the Southeast for quite some time, but slowly but surely those Miami 175s and now the KZs have invaded the Sunshine State. And we've got, I believe, 23, 22 that'll run in the combined group, which is awesome. And we've got last year's #1 plate, Mateus Morgado, here this year, as he came up one race shy of a perfect season, one corner shy, if you will, at the Supernats. He gets another go at it here.
Close. That was so exciting, of course, as we know at the end of the Super Nationals. But listen, again, Morgado's here. That's fantastic. Let's talk about Danny Formal. On Facebook, on social media, it'll be my first year I'm going to miss the Winter Series. I'm not coming, not putting a program together. Of course, that's all it takes, right? You post it out, someone says, hey, no, we're going to make sure you're there, and now he's coming on a Burrell, which I think is very interesting.
And it all kind of comes together. His deal a little bit different than Morgado's. Mateus, of course, the PSL karting in the U.S. and overall Barrel Art factory driver. His contract continues through 2025. But for Danny, well, this year his focus is on developing young Anthony Martella, and caught up with Anthony's father just for a brief moment yesterday. He said, yeah, had a good time having Marian Kremers over here when we were with RPG last year. He's like, I like having those kinds of high-level drivers around Anthony. So this year, of course, Danny will be coaching Anthony full-time on his calendar of USF races, USF testing, karting whenever they can. And he was like, yeah, no, I told Danny, you're not missing year 21 of the consecutive Winter Tour streak, so you're racing. And the last time, of course, Mateus and Danny were here, more than anything, of course, had that spectacular moment. But this is, you know, well, there may already be some excuses going, but this is as close as you can get to an IROC level, saying, all right, well, Mateus had a leg up on me some way or another. That's why he was faster at a track that I've grown up racing at. This weekend, same equipment. That's it. Level the playing field. How you doing? And in Danny's case, and to his credit, he did sit out a few of the practice sessions through the week. Said his ribs have been bothering him a good bit. And he said he just, you know, he hasn't been in a go-kart all that often. Mateus, on the other hand, I don't know how much winter testing he's got to know for a lot of those drivers that ended off at Supernats. Their goal was to try and have a vacation in December. But Mateus, vacation or not, looked like he was a spring chicken yesterday. 4/10 clear of the field. Sat out happy hour, basically. Came in early. Didn't even bother turning a lap. Didn't matter. His lap from practice 4 was still 3 to 4/10 clear of the best guys in final practice.
Well, yeah, the national number ones on the side of the machine, as we know, folks. They're good to see some other drivers kind of coming back a little bit here as well. We talked about Danny Formal being back. Alan Isambard is going to get a chance to get back, be bagging gears again. We've seen him do a lot of KA racing over the last couple of years. I saw Gavin Bailiff getting quicker throughout the day yesterday as well. He was in the top 3, I think second actually, in the final session yesterday. So they've really been improving. Again, a driver who's new chassis, right, going from the Kart Republic into the Barrel Art machine. So giving him a chance to get a feel for the different material as well.
First out lap here, we'll see a mix of times, folks, as you watch on that pylon. Don't be surprised if you're going to see maybe Morgado or Formal probably be 2 to 3 seconds off. Very typical of the shifter drivers to take an extra warm lap or two to really get everything up to temperature and then do a push lap. Remember, keep in mind, these machines are about 40 pounds heavier, more or less, than their single-speed counterparts in either senior or master competition. And, of course, on top of that, you have about an extra 15 horses to the rear tires and a lot more torque with a 6-speed gearbox. So you really need to make sure that if you're going to get the most out of it and not burn the rubber straight off but not get the grip, that you slowly bring it up to temp.
Here's Rene Martinelli, master shifter driver on that TV Kart chassis. Good to see the return as well of Tyler Gilboa for that operation. The DR Kart machine coming out here once again, the DR USA program. John Gilboa here, his dad here with him as well, back behind the wheel. Said feels pretty good. I talked to him a little bit yesterday, and it's been a while since he was back behind the wheel, but feeling pretty good and excited to be back here this weekend. You see the track there, Sandy, we've talked a little bit about it. Great opportunity to see the drying areas, the areas that are still wet. It continues to dry, but again, as you said, when we go pre-final racing, which will be next up, we're going to have an interesting opening couple of laps.
Yeah, it is slowly getting there. Definitely looks like it's starting to get at least a good lane to lane and a half wide on the racing line, but when we get into the pre-final, well, they're going to be 2 and 3 wide going through turns 1 and 2 into those brake zones that still are very damp and dark. So I think we'll probably see a lot of overshoots, a lot of very, very tricky defensive maneuvers if anyone's going to try to go to the inside to fend off any challenges. Here's a look further back. This is Luis Quinones, one of the two. Luis Quinones, the other one, Luis A. Quinones, typically we see with the Factory Karts operation. Not here this weekend, but we know that Factory Karts and GFC, well, they are only planning to build even bigger off of their 2024 campaigns when it comes to drivers and results. I know we'll see them for the SKUSA Pro Tour in Houston, and I'm sure you'll see them here in a couple weeks for the Challenge of the Americas
indeed.
Out west.
Yeah, we'll be out at Tucson. EK and Trackside Live coverage. David Cole and I will be there. And you know, again, the GFC team, the factory card operation, which made some big steps at the end of the year. Of course, adding that new hauler, new factory team as well. They're going to have their own operation, some new ownership. There's new guys in place as a team principal as well, allowing Billy Musgrave to kind of focus on what he does best, and that's R&D and drive and coach. So he's excited about the new year, and I think it's going to be that Winter Nationals race at Speed Sports where all of a sudden the shifters, the big spotlight on shifters again. There's going to be so many guys at that event.
No doubt about that. And we've got to also give a nod as well. Last year we got to see the eventual Supernats champion race over the Challenge of the Americas. Can't forget to talk about the Kart Factory Racing team. They swept the month of November when it comes to the overall national calendar, but they also kicked off their year at the Challenge of the Americas with Daniel Vasile getting a win. So 3 major powerhouses for shifter kart racing out west for the start of the year. And of course out east, you've got the likes of the Marinello group that's got Skitchy Barnes there sporting the #1 plate for the Shifter Master Division. And PSL Karting Beryl Art, well, they've got a lot, as well as the TKG Beryl Art's got a few of the Red Army entries here at the SKUSA Winter Series. Like you said, it'll be kind of a clash of the East and the West. I would not be surprised to see potentially even an LCQ looming for the shifters among all other divisions when we head to the center of the country to Speed Sports Racing Park. It'll be a packed house there like it is here for sure.
We'll give a shout out to Skitchy Barnes and of course his wife Autumn. They just actually were on their honeymoon, just getting back. They were over, I believe, Thailand, Japan. They were a number of places in the east, and elected to come back here. Skitchy coming right back, straight back behind the wheel of the kart. Right, perfect lining up, and I'm glad they had a great time on their honeymoon.
Didn't slow down all too much with the ring on his finger, only a 10th off of Rene Martinelli. Unfortunately, that will be the end of it all. So the TV kart will end on top. The 615 over the #1 plate of Skitchy Barnes. Luis Quinones, Tyler Gilbo, Farshad Bagheri returning behind the wheel as well for the 5 master shifter drivers. And now the final qualifying session is set to go. Here's a look at one of those TKG Beryl Art USA machines, Gavin Bailiff. His first race weekend aboard the red and white. And, well, we've got a little bit of a jam up here leaving the grid. Vincenzo Saraceno, Justin White. And I think we're going to get everyone lined up and away now. So it looks like we've got most of them rolling.
Yeah, and Saraceno was the quickest yesterday afternoon in the final session of the day. So we'll see how he plays out here. But indeed, it was Martinelli, Barnes, Quinones, Gilbo, and Bagheri, the 5 drivers as they had the Masters drivers on track for the pro shifter drivers now out onto the track for their quick qualifying session. Let's be real. Only 4 laps to it, and I like the shorter section. It's not that longer run. You got to get the job done. It's even tougher, Xander, because you kind of outlined it a little bit. It's not like you're running the single speed category, so you kind of get out there, you can really get at it. These guys have to take care of the tires and the engine, get it up to temperature over the first couple laps. You mentioned, really, it's the last couple of push laps. These first 2 laps are going to be all about getting your engine where it needs to be in terms of being the the optimum operating temperature.
Well, let's see what the 64 does. You can see Gavin is at least starting to put the power down a bit on the straights, but definitely tiptoeing in the corners. There's the big man, Danny Formal in the 37, using a little bit of the curbs to get through the center apexes, but still far from that kind of maximum center corner speed. So I'd give him another lap as well as he trails the 64. And Mateus Morgado taking his sweet time getting going as well in the #1. He's about a half the track back. So that'll be fun to watch him jump up the pylon when he does release the parachutes and start to put the power down. Starting to get those brakes warmed up there. Big brake zone down there in the hairpin. It's starting to widen a little, but I will say this is probably the best case scenario for those KA junior drivers that are lined up for their pre-final after this, because the shifters have that naturally narrower line going into the corner, so they will probably slowly dry up at least a little more towards the bottom, make it where it's not as sketchy going 2x2 into a turn.
We'll see which driver draws first blood here right now. It looks like it's Danny Formal. He'll go to the top of this category here. Still not quite as quick as the drivers in Masters, but a 56.2 for Formal, 56.8 for Morgado on his opening lap. Justin White, 57.8. Again, those laps, just these drivers bringing these tires up to temperature, the engine's up to temp. Then they'll go to work. Xander talked about the fact that they'll drag that brake a little bit. They got to get the heat into the brakes as well. And as you heat the brakes, that heat's going to dissipate through the axles as well, and get to the tires. So everything about getting the tires and the engine up to temperature key in these opening couple of laps.
We've got, I think, maybe 2 more that they'll have an opportunity to get it. You can already see Danny Formal starting to push as he's gone to the top. He's put about a half second on Mateus Morgado. Maybe the damp conditions are the equalizer. We'll have to wait and find out if Mateus can close that gap here on this lap around. But as things stand, Formal a little bit quicker to the punch, 52.060. And the rest of the field still a good ways off the master shifter drivers. So yesterday, Martinelli was able to kind of split the last couple. I'm curious how far down he falls, if at all, this time. Looks like maybe that experience might have helped him. Let's see what the big man does. 15.98. That's closing in on how quick they were yesterday. That's within a second.
Yeah, big lap there, 50.986. Bailiff actually jumping up to second as well, 51.301. So still the Burr 1-2 with Formal and Bailiff. Trying to see the update here.
There's Morgado, 50.952, 300ths better than Danny Formal. Just barely had to make a pass this lap on the 27 of Lucas de Longchamp in the 9th position. So Mateus making that move. Did that slow him down at all? I don't know if they'll get another lap. We've seen the checkers fly right around this time, and it looks like it, with the ticker going blue, this will be it. So last lap, and while there was a 4/10 delta yesterday, can Mateus Morgado stay on top? Danny Formal will answer first, 50.49. Bailiff will go better than Mateus as well. He's going to catch some traffic here in the chicane, probably off the number 26 Praga entry. I think he'll be all right on the run to the line. Here it is. Can the number 1 plate start the year on top? No! 2/10 off Formal.
You're right, he got checked up just a little bit. He was right on him coming across the line, wanted to keep that run going, but Danny Formal will go P1. He'll start on the pole. Excuse me, for the pre-final. 50.497, just under 2/10 from Morgado. Gavin Bailiff, as I said yesterday, I talked to his dad, Sean. He said that Gavin just kept getting better throughout the day, and indeed, right there, P3 for Gavin Bailiff, and call it a Bureau Art 1-2-3 now, with PSL Karting and Trinity Karting Group putting all three up there. Juan Acosta for Orsilon Racing goes into the 4th spot on the Maranello. Vincenzo Saracino quickest yesterday, rounding out your top 5.
Then back to Justin White, his Maranello teammate. 3,000 separate the pair of them. They always find themselves around each other. They'll start next to each other on row number 3 in the pre-final ahead of Alan Isambard, his debut with the Rocket Racing Company, OTK. And then the gap starts to open up to Scott Presti, who jumps up from the master class to the pro shifter class for some more competition. He was super fast last year in master shifter. He wants to race against more drivers, top drivers. Ends up 8th in the mix of them, ahead of Martella and CJ Bowman, a couple of young guns. Martella entering his 2nd year of eligibility. I guess you could call it his sophomore season. Didn't do a lot of racing last year in shifter, but CJ Bowman, a true rookie, 1st ever shifter event. Top 10 in qualifying. We're going to switch now to qualifying for the A main and the B main in KA Junior. This format, folks, is a little bit different. You're going to get to see them both race a pre-final. 22nd will be the transfer spot, provisionally, of course, after penalties and tech. And the bottom half will go to a B main in the afternoon. That's our first 2 races of the day. Then there is a break in the action, and then the rest of the pre-finals. It'll all be exclusive to KC Premium members for free coverage. We'll see you again tomorrow. For those joining us behind the paywall, it's time to go racing here in just a moment.
Brandon, why are there all these
right,
charges
stop.
for just over $200?
I'm tired of all this branding business, okay? Branding this, branding that. Why are there all these expenses on AKR over $200? We know, okay? Take a walk with me. At Shop AKR, they have everything you need to start racing at a very cheap and affordable price. They have MXC rims, they got chains, electrical stands, tilt seats, they got MXCs. And if you didn't know, on top of that, any purchase in the continental US over $200, that's free shipping.
Hey, aren't you supposed to be in the AKR Anonymous meeting over there?
Dude, I'm doing a commercial.
Dude, we have no time. It's about to start.
Stop. We all love Shop AKR. Me? More than others. What do I get at Shop AKR?
MXC rims.
All the way up to the finish line. Who is it going to be? And it's Sean Red.
says, who wins in Crescent?
Ty Fisher wins $1,000 in KA100 Junior.
Alex Stanfield played it perfectly here, told him to wait. Stanfield wins the Duffy in 2024 for TV Karts.
Amarillo Kart Complex is now the official distributor for TV Kart in the continental U.S. Become a dealer today.
Brandon, why are there all these charges for just over $200 from Acceleration Kart Racing's website?